All right, so today I had another episode, but it wasn't as bad as yesterday, thank God. I didn't almost pass out, but I had another episode. And now my body is completely exhausted. I'm pretty sure I just have the regular stomach flu, and I just have to keep hydrated and resting. So that's what I'm doing, hydrating and resting today. Sucks. Really does suck. One each, that's it.
I just added a mod where you can feed him blood.
Because, you know, like,
I fed him blood.
I got some homeschooling done today, which was good. But I wanted to do so much more. It was just not a good day for me. The afternoon was horrible.
It's not updating anymore. It just stopped.
No, it's not paused. It'll keep going. Trust me. It just looks like that. It takes a long time sometimes. His iPad's updating, and he doesn't know that it takes a while. Sometimes it takes literally 2 hours. I remember one time my phone updated and it took 2 hours for my phone to update. It can take up to 2 hours. Sometimes. Just gotta be patient.
I feel bad for him since he only has 2 games.
He can download it again as soon as it's done updating. I've already told him this.
And the other thing is he lost all the data for those games.
My kids don't understand these technologies.
Yeah, but what if it doesn't work after? If it doesn't,
It will work.
you know, like if
If the app doesn't work still, even after the tablet has been updated, then there's something wrong with the app. It's not the tablet's fault.
and it's
Okay?
my game's fault, but how does it only happen to everyone except for me?
I don't know, Logan. I'm assuming it was because the tablet's not updated. So that's why we're updating the tablet.
Would you eat a raw octopus leg?
No.
Would you eat a jellyfish raw
No.
with a brown seed inside?
No.
Would you eat raw shrimp?
Yeah.
Would you eat blended pineapple with ketchup and soy sauce in it?
No.
I'm gonna feed that to him right now. It's done updating. It's just being.
You have no idea how cold it is.
Oh, I do know how cold it is out there.
Holy, look at my nose. It's like frozen.
Yeah. It's really cold outside today.
Am I evil? I'm feeding him. What is it called?
Feel.
No, no.
No, with your hand. Feel it, Logan.
I know. It's super cold today. Like, super cold.
Yeah. I walked 10 steps. I'm like, oh, this is a bad idea.
I'm feeding him blood.
I have to go again soon.
For the food, eh?
Right.
Wonton soup.
20 minutes since I called.
Let me feed the man. I'm feeding the orange man.
9 minutes. I'll leave in 15. I'll give them time.
Okay.
It's the last time I waited.
I can't wait to have wonton soup.
Mommy, do you feel bad for Lucas or not?
Of course I feel bad for Lucas. What's the matter with you?
Baby?
What?
Do you need anything?
Nothing until the wonton soup gets here. So excited for that.
Mommy, would you get mad at someone if they're literally smelling it like this and they closed the fridge when you opened it?
Why is he asking me strange questions? So we did schooling today, and I did my, biblical womanhood studies while they were doing their schoolwork. And it worked out quite well until I started feeling sick and had to go downstairs and spend all my time in the bathroom again. Because this stupid stomach flu. Stupid. So what I'm trying to do right now is just relax and wait for wonton soup. I'm hoping that I can have a little bit of it and it'll make my tummy feel a little better. Broth usually makes tummy feel better when you're sick. So I'm hoping that works. And yeah, I'm hoping I'm not this sick tomorrow. Because 2 days of being like this has been way too much for me because I really hate being sick like this. Where it puts me out like this, where I can't get dressed, I can't do anything. I'm literally just stuck in a chair or in bed because it's too painful to move. That's literally what my life is right now. Painful to move because of my stomach. Stupid flu. So yeah, I'm hoping it's gone by tomorrow. Anyway. I have things to talk about, things to do, and I just don't have time to do it right now because I'm too sick.
Mommy,
So yeah. I'll be back. Well, y'all, I'm upstairs now for a little bit at least. I don't feel that great, and I gotta wait another hour and a half before I can have my concoction. I wanted to have a shower, but I don't have any energy to do it.
Did I just break the game or something?
So I gotta wait another day. Hopefully tomorrow.
So I put it in.
Just grab the thing.
What, the battery?
Yes, the batteries.
After shopping, when I get home,
Grab both batteries now.
I should be okay by
I
then.
can't see
No,
nothing.
not in there.
Pretty sure I'll be okay by then.
This one, the second one.
The one that's freaking me out was the song.
Not like better, but what I mean is
No.
like
Grab
probably
that.
have
In the
more
top,
energy
grab
than right
both
now.
batteries.
So,
Put it in what top?
That top.
but then again, maybe not. I don't know.
Grab
I don't really know because tomorrow is going to be freezing cold.
and put them both in each socket. Then you win. This is the part where she actually teleports.
Freezing.
This is where she teleports. This is-
So, yeah.
I'm running.
Anyway,
this is
other
the
than
part where
that,
she has to come.
I have a lot to talk about.
Then this is where you get the hand.
I have a lot.
Exploding.
Okay.
Pull it.
Does he get? Missed the light.
Her wig flew off.
Found a way back to the dome.
We're going to do it. All right, so I did promise you guys that I was going to do this. So I'm going to do this. Well, I'm going to try to do this. So this is ignoramuses. Okay, first of all, let's go over this real quick. These are known birth defects. Okay, there's something called normal and abnormal. When 9 times out of 10 something is normal and then like the 10th time it's not, that's abnormal, okay? And so mentioning these and trying to make a doctrine out of it, like, oh, there's such a thing as other pronouns and other genders because of these things. No, those are known birth defects that happen in utero. So next time you want to play science, actually understand the difference between normal and abnormal. The exception doesn't prove the rule, fools. Now, this one. We talked about this one briefly. No, not this one. This is a different one. This woman, she's so dumb, okay? She mentions Deborah, okay? And then she tries to say in other places on the thread, she says, oh, I've been studying the Bible for 46 years. And I have to say that I know the Bible in and out probably better than half of you here. And I said, yet you don't know that the story of Deborah was a curse on the... Anyway, she tried to usurp authority and say that she was longer in the faith than me, therefore she knows better than I do. And I shut her down just saying simply, how did you not know then that the story of Deborah was a curse on the Israelites? How did you not know this? And she was trying to make a doctrine out of Deborah, when in the Bible, every single time God did a judgment on Israel, he always did something to humiliate them. Like whether it was get them captive by Babylon, or the Romans, or having women rule over them, it was a curse to have a woman in authority. That's why in the New Testament, it strictly forbids women from usurping authority over men or holding any kind of teaching and preaching position in churches. And that's why we have 1 Timothy 2, 1 Corinthians 14, and 1 Peter 3, Titus 2. I could go on forever. You guys know this, right? I thought I'd add this in here just because I thought that was funny, that this person thought that and notice where when it was posted. It was posted in 2019. So I had commented underneath this meme, and I said, "And I bet they're divorced by now." And several men in the comment section had actually said, "What was she doing to contribute to the relationship?" Exactly. Anyway, back to this. Were we talking about Susie or were we talking about Patty? Susie, we're already on now? Anyway, Susie here, she literally has like the most cynical mind I've ever met. She like looks bleakly at everything. She has like this really depressive, dark like thought pattern. So we got into it, as you can tell. She was going off on me, and I guess she went and looked at my page and she realized I was Catholic. And then she started going off on me about Catholicism. And I literally just was like, okay, I thought we were debating something other than Catholicism. We're debating why, like, women should have more than 2 kids. So I was simply saying that if God permits it, the woman should not stop it, And then she's like, but what if they can't afford it? God always provides. I mean, I can't afford life, and yet I'm still surviving because God, okay? God is magnificent, and he is a good provider, and he is very, very good. God is good, okay? He made sure that we did not starve or get laid off during this winter period, which normally during the winter, apparently at the job that my husband has, everybody gets laid off in the winter. But he did not. In fact, he was busy like it was springtime during the winter. So explain that to me, how last year and every other year before that, how long were they in business for? 30 years. And every single winter, they had to lay everyone off until the spring. Every single winter for 30 years except this year. Explain this to me. How, after all those years, when my husband works there, do they get this much work? Because God, okay? It's a miracle. It's God. God loves us. God provides for us. God does not want us to fail. He has been literally sustaining us from the beginning. And I trust so fully in him that if I asked him to move a mountain, I believe he would move a mountain. And that is exactly why my husband had work in the winter when everybody else was getting laid off last year. Other than that, I told her she was wrong, and I explained to her why she was wrong. And so, she tried to argue with me after this, but I don't play that, And then she said, if you love him, you keep his commandments. And I said, I keep all of his commandments, but you certainly don't, right? Because she doesn't submit to her husband. She wants to usurp authority over her husband. She thinks she can preach. She thinks that she can have authority in the church. She thinks these things. She's a very huge feminist, right? Yet she hates on Catholics. I didn't understand this. She thought she was all high and mighty and holier than thou and all this crap. It was really, really, really disturbing. And then she says to me, she says to me, after I said, I keep his commandments, she says to me, the fact you're laughing and bragging about how you keep his commandments is not a trait of Christ. You could have 30 kids, but if you're going to be in a false religion, you're still going to hell. I hope you repent. Stop worshiping and praying to Mary. I said, well, your version of things is not Christ's version of things, and ultimately, he is the judge of every single individual's heart. If my heart be his, he will not deny me salvation. And that's how I dealt with that. She thought I was being arrogant, where in fact I was just laughing because she assumes I'm not saved. She assumes. She is not the judge and final judge and authority on who is and who isn't saved. So what is she doing? What is she even saying? She has no bearing on my salvation, right? And then Diana, she commented and said, "Don't let her get you down. I hate when people do this to Catholics. She can't tell you if you're saved or not saved." I'm like, thank you. And then she went off on Diana, like with all this nonsense here. She just goes on a literal tangent, like just rampage of spewing all the most anti-Catholic things I've ever heard in my life. It's everything I've always heard over the last year and a half, 2 years this April since I converted. It's just the same old, same old. You guys pray to Mary. You worship Mary. Mary was not sinless. Mary had other children. Blah, 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 blah. There's no such thing as infant baptism. Baptism is full immersion. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, Lord have mercy, So I didn't even read all of it because I knew what she was saying. I knew everything she was going to say. I knew it all. I didn't even have to read past the first one because I knew she was going to hit on every single point that I've been hearing for the last 2 years against Catholics. So I decided to just address all of it at once in my comment. And I didn't even have to take as long as she did. I didn't have to take that long. I didn't have to take several comments and then a long novel of a comment just to explain why she's wrong. I just had to say, listen, history doesn't agree with you. History says that the first century Christians were Catholics. All the first century writers write about the Eucharist and the body and the blood. They all prayed to Mary. And they all worshiped God and Jesus. Nobody worships the saints, the angels, or Mary. When you bow, it's reverence and paying honor. It's an honor and paying reverence. It's veneration, not worship. And these people are dumb. They think that praying is worship, which it's not. Worship is a sacrifice. Worship, the ancient form of worship, is sacrifice. Did you guys not read the First Testament? Like the Old Testament? If you read the Old Testament, how did God want to be worshipped? An altar built and a burnt offering, which is what? Sacrifice. That is how you worship God. Sacrifice. So unless I'm sacrificing to Mary, there's no idolatry here. I ask her to pray for me like I ask my brother or my sister or my husband or my kids to pray for me. The only difference is Mary's in heaven. She's a purified soul. She's made it in. She's right beside the king. Why wouldn't I ask someone in the king's court to pray for me? That's right there with the king, who can offer my prayers to the king. Why wouldn't I do that? It's like common sense, yo. Anyway, so yeah, she's still going on. It goes on forever. Shortly, she'll be done, though. And then you get to see my comment. It was very short. Mine's not as long as hers. She went on this huge rampage tangent, and she wrote a frickin' novel and a half. And then I just wrote literally a paragraph, and then I was done. Like, couldn't she keep it within a paragraph? She was so mad, you could tell. You wait till you see her last comment. You can tell that she's an angry person when you see her last comment. She's so angry This person has no love in her. She's just hateful. All around hateful. And that's not of Christ. Christ never told anyone to hate anyone.
No, don't pull it back up. Go to the
Very shortly is her last one after her novel, which is coming up pretty soon. I know it's boring. I know she just went on and on and on. I know. I can't really help it. I want you guys to see the actual stupidity I have to deal with. This is the stupidity I have to deal with. You know, like pick up a freaking catechism. Somebody, if you're going to, okay, if anybody wants to debate a Catholic, they have to first read the catechism. They have to first read the history of the church, the traditions of the church, and the canon law of the church, and the magisterium. If you want to argue with a Catholic, they have 2,000 years of documents and proof and evidence and like you can't fight that. So start with the first century writers and try to prove that they never worshiped through the Eucharist, which they did because they wrote about it. And I've shared many quotes from the church fathers that were directly taught by the apostles, Paul and Peter. No, John and Paul. Yes, Apostle John and Paul, because John was the only one that lived until his ripe old age on the island in a cave where he had Revelations, which he wrote down, was the last book of the Bible. And Paul, he was beheaded, but he taught, he made new disciples and new church leaders from prison. Luke would sneak them in so that he could train them. So, in the years before he was in jail, he would go and train them. And Timothy was his direct disciple, as you guys know. He calls him his son in the faith. So, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of history. There's a lot of proof. John 6, 35 through 60 is one proof that Jesus literally kept saying 3 times, you have to eat my flesh and drink my blood to have life in you. And if you do not, then you have no life in you. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. I don't understand how people can't understand this. It's right in the Bible what Jesus was actually saying. And if he was meaning it symbolically, then why did all of his disciples that were following him leave except the apostles? And he even said to the apostles, are you going to leave me too? And then Peter said to him, but Lord, you are the one with the words of eternal life. Where should we go? No one else has the words of eternal life. So, yeah, they accepted what he was saying. And then she goes on to say stupid things like, oh, you probably worship on Sunday and you're a sun worshiper. I'm like, well, I guess the apostles were too then, because they also worshipped on Sunday to remember Jesus' resurrection. I mean, like I said, does she even read her Bible? Or does she only go and Google things and then post those and say, gotcha. Like, ignorant. I can't believe how ignorant some of these anti-Catholics are, you know? And I know that I didn't get to do the wrap-up and the new chapter. I was sick, so we'll have to do that this Monday. We'll do the new chapter, and I'll do the wrap-up this Sunday, and I'm very sorry I was sick. As you guys know, I've been fighting this stomach flu, whatever is going on with me. Sometime though, this week or next week, I get to go see my family doctor, which we just received after 14 months of waiting on a waiting list. So maybe she can, or he, she, whoever it's going to be, can prescribe something to me to get me over this flu quickly. That'd be freaking awesome. Because I am sick and tired of being sick. Yeah, tired.
Ozzy Osbourne lyrics.
No, not that one. Over there. Yes, point it like that way. No, the other way. That way.
Well, I'm sorry. Ozzy Osbourne can keep his corona.
Oh, wait, turn this.
And it's cracky.
Oh,
Anyway, so she's almost done now, as you can tell. She's about to write her novel. And then once she's done with the novel, she says her last angry tangent, and then it's me. We're almost done, don't worry. It's been a while since I've done this though, because I wasn't feeling well. And I really wanted to do this sooner, but I had to wait till I could pay for my app, because I have to pay for it like once a month, and we always get paid like 4 days before 4 days after it expires. So I have to always wait 4 days before I can pay for the app. And so I had to use like voiceover and TikTok, for instance, for some of my videos. And I could only export my videos twice a day on my Video Leap app that I pay for, because it was expired, so I had to wait. Now I can do unlimited again, but at the time I could only do two videos a day. So that's why I was not doing any of these kinds of videos where I do voiceover with pictures, because on TikTok it doesn't do the same thing that I can do in Video Leap. So that's why I had to wait. And I'm sorry, y'all. I know it was difficult for me too, because I really hated that I had to wait. You know, I hate waiting. I'm not a very patient person, but I think that's why this keeps happening to me, so that I can learn some patience. You know? Anyway, here's her novel. She's about to write her novel, and then she's done. I don't even know why she would bring this stuff up, but whatever. She decided to bring this stuff up as some kind of like in your face kind of thing. But she doesn't even understand that she's using Protestant lies when she's describing things of the Catholic Church. If she wants to describe something of the Catholic Church, she should go to Catholic sources, not Protestant sources. That's not where you get truth from. If you're going to learn a language, would you go to somebody who doesn't know the language, or would you go to someone who knows the language? Like, it just makes sense, right? Why would you go to the outer skirts when you should go to the source? Doesn't make any sense to me at all that she would use Protestant stuff to refute Catholic stuff, which lots of Protestants get Catholic stuff wrong, misinterpret, out of context, and downright lie. So, like, come on, people. Have, like, some common sense. Some. Please. So, here's her novel. I'm sorry, you guys have to see this novel of a, heresy. Oh, Lord.
how many times did I die?
It's so heretical.
2 times last month.
Lordy, Lordy, Lordy.
Once by Mr. Light, once by Dog Day.
But yeah,
2 times, 3 times.
after she was done this, I got to say what I wanted to say, which was really nice. And I made the last comment because she just could not, I don't think she could deal with the fact that I could refute everything with so little words. I didn't even have to try, because I already know what they're arguing. I already know what they're going to say. I already know, because, I've dealt with them. Not just that, but I used to be the same person arguing these same points. At one point when I was a Protestant, 2.5 years ago, I was doing this. I was arguing these same points. So it's nothing I haven't heard or argued against myself, So I already had experience with this. And that's why when I went to the Catholic Church the first time, as you guys know from my testimony, I brought with me 150 questions, and all 150 questions got answered through RCIA, thank God. And they had an answer for everything. They showed me everything I needed to know. And they explained to me why Protestants have it wrong. That Protestants mean well, but they got it wrong because they'd rather believe lies and falsehoods rather than actually doing their due diligence and looking into the actual truth of the matter. You know what I mean? Really, really sad. On the other hand of things, when I first came to Catholicism, I didn't know what to do because there was so many Catholics doing talking about the traditional Catholics, traditional Latin Mass, and why you need to go to traditional Latin Mass, and why the ortus what ortus ordo is not the proper Mass, and why it's heretical. And I was seeing all this kind of stuff going around, and so I kind of got a little confused at the beginning. And so that's why I really, really liked when I found Reason and Theology, because he explained everything way better than anyone else. So like I said, when I have a question about Catholicism, is this heretical, or should I listen to this? Should I share this? I go first to Reason and Theology because he always talks about the latest things in the trad movement. So I go there first, and if it's heretical or it's sedevacantism, I don't touch it with a 10-foot pole, because I do not need a mortal sin on my soul. You know what I mean? I don't need that. So I literally just go there first, and I go to the source. The source is, he reads the Vatican's newsletters. He reads the Vatican's documents. He explains to us what it means in layman's terms. He makes it very simple and easy for us to understand. And that's why I go to him for anything Catholic related. And I also go to Voice of Reason for the same reason, because he also does the same thing. He talks about the anti-Catholics and what they're saying about the Pope, and always tells us what we should be doing as real Catholics. And so I really like them too. For that, they have taught me a lot and helped me in my walk with Catholicism quite a bit. So I have to thank them for their channels, because I go there quite often for insights. And of course, Catholic Truth, because Catholic Truth also does debates with anti-Catholics and refutes all of their outrageous claims and things. Oh my God, Ross is so ugly now. Anyway, sorry, ADD. Oh, Lord. I saw a commercial with Ross, and I was like, oh my God, he's so ugly now. Anyway, sorry, guys. I have ADD. Oh, yes, Catholic Truth. Catholic Truth debates anti-Catholics on TikTok and everywhere, So I go to his channel to get the latest updated version of whatever's going on with debates and what they're saying now. And there's some crazy things Protestants say, crazy things. And I was once one of those Protestants that believe those kinds of things. And now I realize that, a lot of Protestantism is fear-mongering. You know what I mean? A lot of it is fear-mongering. And they are scared of everything. I I remember thinking, oh, I can't do this because it would be a sin because that's a form of witchcraft or whatever, like, and so I was always scared of everything, like certain words, certain holidays, even using the days of the week, as you guys remember, and the months of the year. I was terrified because I thought that I was sinning against God in some way, and that's why it's so dangerous for Protestants to be speaking about these things. They should just be preaching the stuff in the Bible, you know what I mean? And not scaring people with like, oh, you shouldn't say these words because, this and that and the other, and making a doctrine out of it. It's just scaring people, you know what I mean? Now, I don't celebrate Halloween. I celebrate All Hallows Eve and All Saints Day because that's the Catholic holidays for it. And it's 3 days, and you're supposed to go to cemeteries and pray for the dead, and light candles for them. Actually, once upon a time, a long time ago, when they used to do that, they used to take candles with them, march to the nearest cemetery, singing hymnals, and then they'd lay candles and pray for the dead there. It was a beautiful ceremony, And then they would leave the cemetery, and the whole cemetery would be lit up with candles for all of the loved ones there to show that they were praying for everyone's loved ones, So it was a beautiful thing. It was so heartwarming, And this used to be tradition, like, not that long ago. I remember when in the 90s that there was still like 80% of the population still Catholic. And then it started declining quite a bit with Protestantism as they got more loud and, the scandals came out about the Catholic Church and whatnot. And that was not very good for the Catholic Church. But people ran away from the faith, which they shouldn't have, because priests are human. Are they expecting priests to be gods? Are they expecting priests to be Christ? They're going to get disappointed. They're human. If you're in the faith for a priest, then you're not in the faith for the right reason. You're supposed to come to the faith for Jesus. And if you're there for Jesus, then it doesn't matter what's going on with humans, mortals, right? I don't understand how people don't think like this. How do people not think like eternally and spiritually? How did they just think so carnally? It just baffles me. I don't know, you guys. I don't get it. It's just a huge headache for me just to think about these kinds of things, The same thing with like marriage, how people think about marriage. It's okay to divorce. It's fine. Even though it's a mortal sin and you're divorcing God. You're in a covenant with God. Lord have mercy. I don't understand people. I forgot you can only record voice over for 30 minutes at a time. I don't remember what the last thing I said. But anyway, I said this is why I talk about these things, to teach these things on my page. Because even though they call me a hypocrite for it, I don't care, because I know that I'm preaching the right thing if people are getting upset about it. If they're getting convicted because of what I'm saying, then obviously I'm saying something right. Something in what I'm saying is right, because they did the same thing to Jesus. They always tried to trip him up and like call him a hypocrite and this and that and the other, and call the apostles hypocrites and the disciples hypocrites and things. They tried that all the time, And so I know I'm doing something right when that happens. So it doesn't really matter to me, really, what they say. I'll keep teaching the right things of the Bible, like Titus 2 says for older women to do. I'll keep teaching the right things of the Bible, even though they call me a hypocrite. I don't care. You guys can call me a hypocrite all you want. I have been living Christ's commands for almost 5 years now. It will be 5 years on the 10th. 5 years on the 10th that I came to Christ in 2020, February 10th. So it'll be 5 years I've been in with Christ and following his commands. And on April 8th, it'll be 2 years since I converted to Catholicism and following the true faith. So it really doesn't matter what people are saying about me and what they're saying about my faith, because I'm not in the faith for men. I'm in the faith for Jesus. I'm not in the faith for priests. I'm in the faith for Jesus. I'm not in the faith for, all the people at my church. I'm in the faith because of Jesus. And that is the right way of thinking about faith. You're not part of an affiliated faith because of whatever reason. It's because of Jesus. It should be, at least. If you're a part of any religion, it should be because of Jesus. And if you're not in it for Jesus and you think that the reputation of those in the faith matters, then you're carnal. That's not what it's about. It's about Jesus and the message he's bringing and the truth of the Gospels and what's being preached. And is it the right thing? And is it what Jesus taught? And is it what the apostles taught? And if it be a gospel that was not taught by the apostles and taught by someone else, then let them be accursed. And that's the way I think about it. It should be a spiritual thing, not a carnal thing. Don't follow men, follow Jesus. Don't rely on men and their reputation. They will let you down. They'll always disappoint you. Even I will disappoint you. I sin. I have to go to confession like once a month just to confess all my sins. So, yeah. Not that I do a whole bunch of sinning, but I have sins that I do, like habitual sins, which I try not to do, but I'm getting better at most of them, and I am trying to change them, which is the purpose of being in the faith, is to turn away and try not to do those kinds of sins. And for the most part, I do pretty good. But, I'm a sinner. I can't help it. My flesh will want to sin until I'm dead, and then it'll be my spirit who's been purified and washed in the blood of the Lamb. So I'll be saved and going to heaven because of my soul being baptized in Jesus. My flesh will pass away. My spirit will not. Thank Jesus for that. And now we're at the end. So I just wanted to share these things in case you guys were confused about what I teach and preach on my page. I am teaching and preaching to women only, and these are the subjects in which I cover. And it's on a daily, weekly basis, in and out, and it alternates through all these kinds of areas of topics. So I hope that you enjoy what you'll see on my page, and that we can have more discussions like this. And I will see you shortly, because I have to do some more videos after this, after I'm done, this. So, I have some topics for the next couple of days if I feel good enough. Like, tonight I've been feeling okay. Even though I had another session like yesterday, it wasn't as bad because I understand what was happening to me now. Yesterday I did not. So it was a lot of anxiety on top of illness. And so I'm glad that I understand what's happening to me now. So I'm not as scared when it happens. But yeah. So today I handled things a lot better, which is why I was able to talk today. But I am going to go to bed because I'm like really, really tired, and I'm really, really not feeling well. So I'm going to let my body do its thing and fight this in sleep time. You know what I mean? But yeah, we will be discussing this week chastity, purity, modesty, and I have a couple more videos that I'm going to screen record and then post in the next couple of days.
This one?
some fun things, and also why it's important to prioritize God above everything else, okay? Why it's so important. He needs to be prioritized. He should be number one. We should be waking up and thinking about him first thing in the morning. He should be the last thing we're thinking about when we go to bed. And he should be like a lot of our thought throughout the day, okay? But yeah, I just wanted to say that, and I hope you enjoy the talk that we had with the screenshots, and I'll be back tomorrow sometime. I don't know when, because I'm turning off my alarm. I need the rest because I'm sick, and tomorrow I have to go shopping, so I need to gain all the energy I can get to go shopping. And I also have to go and pick up my prescription from Shoppers. I have a few things I have to do tomorrow, which I'm not going to like doing, but at least now I have my medicine so that I can do it without having too much pain. So it's just going to suck because it's so cold. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow sometime, okay? We'll talk, don't worry. God bless. Good night. Later for now. See you tomorrow morning sometime. Okay? Later.